today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm not going to do any forging. We're going to work on the finishing end of a project. So this is a pizza cutter that I forged out for a friend of mine. He's actually my oldest living friend. I don't make them like that anymore, thank God. But I got a piece of sapel wood, I think that's how you say it here. We're gonna make some handles for this, but first thing we're gonna do is we're going to clean it up, maybe profile in a little bit of a bevel edge on it. And then I want to do something special for this guy, close as any brother I would ever have. So let's see what we can come up with. I want to put a hole in it to hang it up with anyway. Let's see what we can figure out here. We've got our profile established. Only took a few seconds. Forged it pretty close. It actually feels good. Feels like it's gonna tear some pizzas up. But now let's go ahead and clean up our sides a little bit and get ready for the next step. Okay, I've got it ground, I think, where I want. I don't want it to be too pretty. He's kind of an ugly looking guy. But I left a lot of the hammer marks in it. But I have an idea. Let me do something. You tell me what you think. There's my thought. I'm going to cut a hole in this blade shaped like a heart. Why not? I wanted something to hang it up with anyway, or do something different. Like I said, this is my oldest living friend, and let me just tell you, this guy's old. All right, got my heart in there. I think it looks pretty good. A little different. So I was a little worried about the heat treat on this, but we'll just see what happens. I went ahead and filed everything real smooth and rounded all these edges, and then I come back and sanded it a little bit just to smooth everything out. Make sure I have no sharp corners anywhere that could act up in the quench. So now I need to mark the center of the blade. I need to establish my bevel and get it ready for the heat treat. So since this is my oldest living friend, we're going back old school. So this is how I used to mark all my knives. You can see there's no line on it, right? We just eyeball everything. Come on, marker. There we go. How to get this here where you guys can see me actually doing this. This is the way I used to mark all of my blades. Just by eyeball. So now I've got a center line on my blade. You can tell me if it's straight or crooked. Doesn't matter. Gonna grind it by eyeball too. But I also want to put a line on here for the my bevels for how far they come up, because I don't want anything near this part. So I'm just going to grab me another marker here. I'm going to say about a 1/2 inch. Mark one side. Mark the other side. Alright, so let's go do some grinding real quick. I got the blade profiled, I got the sides cleaned up, I got my special little treat put in it there, I got my bevels established. Now I'm not going to put any pins in these handles because, you know, it's not a swinging tool, it's a pizza cutter. It's made to cut pizzas. So I'll be able to change the handle if something was to happen, it get dropped or whatever. But I think now I'm ready for a heat treat. Put my touch mark on it, normalize it, and quench it. So let's do that. Now I'm going to mark my blade where I want to have my touch mark. Again, we're just eyeballing everything. There's the spot. Can you? Alright, so I'm fixing to do my stamp on it. So I'm going to go ahead and do a dry run, a practice run. I just do it, just better to be safe than sorry. I know what I can expect, okay? So here's what I do. I got my little stand made that holds my touch mark nice and straight. I know where I'm going to put my stamp. So I'm just going to see how long it takes me to put it in there and be ready to stamp it. Blam! Let's put it in there and get it hot. So after I do my stamp on it, it's likely to have a little bend or whatever in it. I made me a wooden hammer. The orange side gets used on the fire. But I use a wooden hammer because it doesn't mark the metal. So I'll just do my touch mark, pull it out, tap it on there, get it straight, get it back in the forge, get it hot to do a normalization cycle. I'm also going to put my block of steel that I use to heat up my oil in there now and get my oil hot, ready to go. So I'm fixing to put it in the forge. That was its second normalization cycle. Everything's good, straight, but I'm going to put it in the forge. I'm going to bring it up to heat. I'm going to quench it in the oil, and then I'm going to lock it in between two pieces of angle iron just to make sure everything stays straight. I'm going to let it cool down in there until I can touch it with my hand, and then I'm going to take it out. We'll go in and temper it. All right, quench went good. Blade is straight. Can you see there? The handle is kicked off just a tiny little bit. Probably where I picked it up with the tongs, and just under the weight of itself, it bent it a little bit. But I'm going to totally temper these handles out completely anyway. So I can heat that up, turn it just a little bit, it'll be fine. So I know that the heat treat went well because I see this silver when I wiped it off after I pulled it out of the angle iron. Now we can file check it, just take a listen. That's a hard blade. It barely even scratched the carbon buildup on it. But let's go in and temper it. All right, we're in the house. I'm gonna turn the oven on, 400 degrees, let it come up to temperature, and put it in there. Cook it for 1 hour. At the end of that hour, I will turn the oven off, not even open the door, let it set and cool off completely. Pull the knife out, kick it back on at 400 degrees. When it comes up, I'll put it back in there, cook it for another hour. When it goes off, I'll just turn it off and I'll let it set overnight. Temper will be done. We'll take it out and finish it in the morning. Let's go ahead and turn the oven on and get started. So I put my knife on this nice rack that's only used for knives. I'm gonna come over here, 400 degrees, hit start. It's on, ready to go. I'm gonna wait for the beat and stick it in there. Okay, we're back on the pizza cutter. So I tempered it out in the oven. I tempered it 2 cycles at 400 degrees. I got, it might be hard to see, but you see how it kind of has this bronze color right here? So that's what I was talking about with the straw color. So when you temper out the steel, if you see blues and browns and everything, you've lost all the hardness. I'm going to show you that because I want to temper out the handles on this. I'll probably temper these out completely blue. They'll just, you know, I'll remove all the hardening. I'll take it down close here because this is a thin spot. It's going to get a lot of pressure. I know my friend, and I don't want to take a chance on breaking a handle. But I think the first thing we're going to do is, I've got this piece of sapel wood here. Pardon me if that's not the correct way to say it. I'm from Southeast Missouri. Didn't realize I had an accent until I started watching these videos. But we're going to take this piece of wood. We're going to cut a piece off for this part of the handle, and then we'll take the rest of it and set up for this part of the handle. So I'll cut it. I'll be right back. All right, I got my pieces of wood cut. So we're going to set it up and I'll show you what's next. All right, so I'm thinking handle. Now these were just this was just a split piece of wood that I had, so it's a little wider on this end and this end. I'm going to use that. I think I'm digging it. I'm seeing something there that fits my friend. But we'll set it up. All right, my next step is I need to drill these handles so I can get it a hole started. So I'm thinking about doing a burn-in. I'm not a big fan of a burn-in. We'll try it. I don't even know if this wood will burn. But I'll burn it in close, and then I'll take another tool I'll show you that I made, and we'll clean it out and go from there. So doing the burn-in, actually might as well, there's a step of, I'm going to blue back these completely out, so if I'm getting them hot, why not use that heat to do the burn-in all at the same time. Alright, I got my handles marked out, got the center marked, I got where the thing is going to set, both pieces. So now I'm going to put a little punch on that. I'm going to find me a couple of drill bits that are this thickness and this thickness, and I'm going to drill some holes. We'll be back right after that. Alright, I got my holes drilled. You can see it does slip on. It just goes about so far. So we're going to glue back our 2 handle areas really good anyway. let's go ahead and try a burn in. It drilled amazingly well. We'll see. I think this wood might work pretty good. But the other one's the same way. Goes on so far. That's about it. All right. So I marked with soapstone where I want to stop at on my depth. I use soapstone because I'll be able to see that when I heat it up. The black magic marker will vanish. So let me get it set up. We'll put it in the vise, use it as a heat sink to keep the edge from getting too hot, but I'll also wrap a wet rag around it too, and maybe have some water there to pour on it as I'm doing this, but we'll see how it goes. Just in case everyone hadn't figured it out already, doing a burn-in with Sapel sucks, but I did learn a few things. So I burnt and it just charred the inside and it would not burn any deeper. I grabbed a little poker and I went in there and I cleaned that out and I heated it up and burned it in again. Now after cleaning out the char and then doing, burning it in again, it went a lot better. So I got both my handles burned in where I want them. So it feels almost like a pizza cutter. Let's go ahead and shape up the handles a little bit, make sure we get everything straight. I noticed this one is actually a little twisted, but that's okay because I think I might round it off anyway. So you see how much it's twisted right there. But hey, nature of eyeball and burn in. Don't burn in. Alright guys, the end of the day, there's the handle roughed in there, there's the handle roughed in there. We'll see how many of you people out there might figure this one out. But my friend will know it instantly. Alright, let's finish up this pizza cutter today. So I got my handles burned in, I got them all finished. I got them finished sanded up to 320. I got my little special thing in there. We'll talk about it at the very end. But I think I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of beeswax on these. I talked earlier, I used 50-50 mix by weight of beeswax and mineral oil. And just got this little tin here. I just put it in it and I used it. I'm going to put this on with my fingers and then clean it off, let it set a little bit. Make sure I get in all them little beads that I cut there. Kind of a tight corner around this lip. Can't really put too much on here at the beginning. Like I said, I'm going to take a rag, wipe off any excess. So in using the beeswax and the mineral oil, I mean both of them are food grade materials. So I like to keep away from all the chemicals that I can. Yes, I use acetone and I use all these resins and everything, but I just like to keep away from all the chemicals that I can, especially around my food. Alright, got them covered. Close up my can here. Just wipe off the excess. Not getting real picky about it. Huh. Don't them look nice? Still see that nice and good. I was going to put that in white because it's traditionally in white, if you figured it out yet. But I figured, why not blue? Look pretty good. Now, let's go grind the finished bevels on this blade and we'll be ready to glue it together. Alright, I got my bevels ground. Now I just took them up to, like, I don't know what my belt is, a 180 I think. That's fine enough for this project. It's a pizza cutter. So, got my handles here ready to glue up. Got a coat on them, a finish already. So, what I was going to tell you is, remember I did a burn in. I don't want all this char to be in here and me put my glue in and the glue stick to the char and the handle still come off. So I went in with a broaching tool, I think is what it's called. Now I just made an easy, simple to make one. So here's my tool. You can see it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 teeth on it. This was just a Sawzall blade that I cut down, and I just resharpen these teeth every once in a while. So I had that char in there. I just go in there and I clean it out. I'm trying not to take any wood out right now because I got it fitting the way I want. I tap it out. No char, okay? But this broaching tool, this is a very handy tool. You can actually fit up a handle very close with this tool. So I'll just try to zoom in here and get a quick look at it. Alright, it's just got 3 or 4 teeth. I got 4 on this one. I've been meaning to make an actual one of these, but this works so good I just don't need it yet. Alright guys, here's the pizza cutter all done. Got the heart and the blade, got my bevels established, got my handles done, and in case everybody hadn't figured it out yet, that is the Volkswagen shifting pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, over and back is reverse. Have a good day.